Hey guys, so the next tournament has been announced, the Nightmare Cup. This time we've got Fighting, Dark, and Psychic. And you're also not allowed to bring some Pokemon to this fight. No Legendaries, that includes Mythicals, no Medicham, and no Sableye. That's because Medicham and Sableye basically, they skip past the weaknesses that are built into the meta. So, they'd be a little too overpowered. Sableye can only be weak to Fairy, for example. And you just don't want that kind of thing running around. So anyway, I've made this little graphic. I made it really quickly, so it's not super in depth, but I think it gives a good little snapshot of this entire meta. So we'll start in the middle. Spiritomb, he's ranked as #1 in this whole cup. So he can take on all of the fighting types, and that is going to be key in this meta. The fighting types are going to be a force to reckon with. Not only have you got Lucario with the Power Out Punch, you've got Toxicroak with the Mud Bomb Spam, Machamp, and they all rank really highly according to PvPoke. I'll link that in the description. And so Spiritomb, who can handle those, is a really good thing to have. He can also handle the Psychic types, which, if you follow the arrow, you can see that the Psychic types, which is Xatu, he's the top one of the Psychics, they can beat the Fighting types. And so if you have Spiritomb, who can beat both the Fighting types and a Fighting type counter, that's a solid member of your team. So Spiritomb's really good. I brought him in for the Twilight Cup. Never used him. He was more of just a sort of bait, sort of like, oh, what am I going to use against Spiritomb? I don't know, a little worried. Put him on edge. And I mean, I won. Maybe it worked. So anyway, keep going around. Spiritomb will lose to the water types, the Poliwrath and Sharpedo. Sharpedo being water dark, Poliwrath being water fighting. I decided to put him up there because I felt like his matchups were sort of more accustomed to that sort of spot. Spiritomb also loses to the dark types, Umbreon and Alolan Muck, etc. And he loses to Shiftry. So we'll move on to the fighting types. The fighting types obviously lose to the psychic types, they lose to Spiritomb. So what can they do? They can destroy Skuntank. It's a very similar situation to what it was in the Twilight Cup. Toxicroak versus Skuntank. Skuntank is gone. They can also take out Shiftry. That counter you can see down there, who can counter the water types and the Spiritomb. Very key member. And also, there's a lot of fighting going on. So, Toxicroak beats Lucario. Lucario can beat Machamp. There's just lots of little intricacies. I'm going to go through that in a whole nother video through the fighting types. So please subscribe. We'll get that soon because there is a lot of mashups going on in there. Keep going around. Skuntank can then counter the dark types. Again, pretty similar to the Twilight Cup. So you can see there's some echoes of the Twilight Cup here. The fact that there's only 3 types is possibly to be distinct from that cup, I suppose. And I mean, it certainly is. Here's this meta that doesn't look exactly the same at all. There's just little bits and pieces that you go, oh yeah, I remember those matchups. The dark types lose to the water types, the Sharpedo, the Poliwrath, but they do also beat the Spiritomb. And additionally, they beat the fighting types. So there are a lot of fighting type counters running around, but the fighting types, you can't ignore them. They are ranked really highly, all of them, in this cup. So you'll have to watch out for them. And the water types, now, again, I've gone back to the same point, but Poliwrath has got the fighting type. He could be with the fighting types, but his matchups are a lot more inclined to be up there. They lose to Shiftry, beat Spiritomb, beat the dark types. Obviously this little image isn't the perfect thing. I've made it pretty quickly, but I really do think it gives a good snapshot. Now, you'll see over in the right, Heracross is hanging over there. Heracross has got an interesting place in this meta. So he's a regional, which already puts some people at edge, like, oh no, a regional in the meta. But he's not a king of this meta. He's ranked number 16 by PvPoke. He's got counter as a fast move, which is obviously one of the best moves in the game. He's a solid Lucario counter. He beats Shiftry, he beats Alolan Raticate. He loses really hard to the psychic types. Just wasn't quite sure where to fit him in on this image. So this is just the first draft. I'm going to come up with a more refined image again really soon, because this did only come out today. I'm getting this to you as soon as I can. And so yeah, tomorrow I'll be uploading some Kingdom, sorry, not Kingdom Cup. We're still there. Some Nightmare Cup battles to get a little picture of what's going on, the sort of matchups you'll see, how things do, how things can take damage. So yeah, please like and subscribe. Um, let me know what you think about this infographic. Obviously, there's some problems with it, um, and there's some generalizations made with the grouping and what beats what. But yeah, please let me know. Any feedback's helpful, and I'll make a second lot of this. And yeah, I'll upload that soon. So thanks, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.